man is
There is no future for people who deny their past. My foreparents, my
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, your ultimate destination for urban culture, community vibes, and live conversations with the movers and shakers of the streets. Join us as we explore the rhythm of the one beat at a time. Let's get the show started. Turn up the volume, sit back and relax, and welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, hosted by Turbotheceo, and follow us on all social media platforms.
You're listening to the TheFinalBoss podcast.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, Tuesday night edition. I am your host, Turbo the CEO, or Final Boss, and that is Big Mike. He is our Tuesday night correspondent. You will always see him unless an emergency happens that neither one of us could be here. He is our Tuesday night correspondent. He is the guy. He is Big Mike, the sensei. Man, we have an amazing show for you, like we always do. But to my smarts, to my final bosses, to everyone around the world who's joining us for Tuesday night's edition, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be a part of the information and the information that we are entrusting to you. We love the feedback, so keep the feedback coming. And if you're not DMing us on the various social media platforms, you can always send us an email at info@TheFinalBossPodcast.com. That is our email. Make sure you get in touch with us. Your thoughts, concerns, you want to be a part of the show, let us know. We are all here for it. Man, it's been a great week. We have a lot of things to talk about. And you can catch us at 9 p.m. live each and every Sunday, which is the show by myself. The show with Big Sensei is on a Tuesday, every Tuesday. And my special guest, which is normally a show for entrepreneurs, is our entrepreneur segment show every Thursday at 9 p.m. So, before we get into it, I have to give you my brass tacks. But before I give you my brass tacks, I have to give you the disclaimer. But before I give you the disclaimer, I have to give you the greeting of the day. Listen, and here it is, the greeting of the day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to everyone all over the world. We appreciate you. Now for the disclaimer. This, my friends, is for entertainment purposes only. All right? That's two of the three. Here's the third. Tonight's brass tacks. We're going to be talking about a very thought out subject. I'm not going to give you any more details, but tonight's brass tacks comes from there's no author, but this quote is about human potential. And here it is. Human potential is amazing. We have the capacity to create a world that is peaceful, one that spreads kindness and love rather than hatred. If we believe it to be so, it will be our truth, and we will create it. That is our brass tacks for tonight. Tonight's episode number 90. Man, I miss using military pronunciations for numbers and alphabets. I thought it was always the coolest thing. Anytime I get a chance to use it or tell the military time, oh man, I'm all for it. All for it, man. I love it. Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, man. You hear me? Oh, it's 14:30. I love it. Man, the sensei is here. I know he's waiting for me to get started, man. But I just wanted to put a little bit of that information out there to you guys. I don't want to overstand. We appreciate you like no other. If we didn't, we wouldn't be here. We would not be here. We are delivering professional content to you close to what the professionals who have $1 million studios who have $1 million salaries, we are presenting to you this level of professionalism. And we're doing it off the strength of humanity because we care. We care about humanity. We care about the direction humanity is going in. We care about each and every last one of you. Not, and it's not about who you're politically affiliated with. It's not about the color of your skin. It's not about your religious beliefs. It's not about how much money you have or the money you don't have. We are here to deliver these messages to you because we care about one simple thing. And that one simple thing is humanity. And that brings us to our show, episode 90. Technology, consciousness, and human potential. Technology, consciousness, and human potential. Big Mike, the floor is yours.
So I like what you were saying in the intro is that why we do this. And the reason why we do this is so that we can, and this is what we try to do, is to explain these complicated concepts that you hear out there in the world and put them in more plain language that are easier to understand. Because if you don't understand the buzzwords, if you're not in that industry to understand the buzzwords, then you're like, what's that mean? And how does it translate to a real person?
Exactly.
So I'm hoping that what we do here is to be able to translate that and not filter it, because we don't filter it, but to at least put it in terms that you can understand, so you can make sense out of it. Look, I always say this: if you have the information in front of you, you can make the intelligent decision, but you have to have the information in a way that you can understand it. If you can't understand the information, how do you make an intelligent decision? Too many people are out there blindly following emotion and not making intelligent decisions because they don't have the information that they need, or they don't even have the training to critically think.
Correct.
So they emotionally follow the herd.
Yeah.
And off they go. So hopefully what we can do is provide some kind of clarity and insight into this mess. It's a mess. And it's a lot of white noise out there. And that's a radio term for static.
Right.
Look, if I'm talking to you and 100 other people talking at the same time, how do you hear my conversation?
Exactly.
So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go in and try to make sense of some of this mess.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's hitting people daily. We are navigating through life, and it's the news, it's the opinions, it's influences. It's the algorithms. It's a non-stop flood. Most people are like, make it stop. I'm crashing out. And you could actually see that people are crashing out. There are events you can't even turn your TV on for more than 5 minutes without seeing people crash out. My question to you, do you think people are getting smarter or just more overwhelmed?
I think that they're getting overwhelmed. I don't think people are getting smarter.
Okay.
I really don't, because with the technology that we have, people don't have to think for themselves. They just follow something that they see, and they don't have to think.
True.
So we have the illusion of being informed. People feel like they know what's going on because they have 24/7. They're plugged in, and they think, "Oh, I really know what's going on. I the current stuff as it's hitting, I'm on top of it." No, you're on top of what you get is trash. You're on top of the trash pit. Okay. So 3/4 of the time, it's not good information you're getting. It's garbage. So you can claim you're informed, but when you're standing in the dump with trash all around you, you're not informed.
Yeah.
It's like eating junk food. You're never full.
Right.
You don't have anything. You don't have any meat and potatoes. You're not eating steak. Right? You eat a steak, you're satisfied for a long time. You eat a Twinkie, and you want another Twinkie. I mean, eat chips. You don't eat one chip, you eat the bag of chips.
Yeah.
And there's no content to it. There's no value in it. So that's the problem. It's quantity that's out right now. Massive quantity, overwhelming amount of quantity. And it's only getting worse. Because we're getting slam dunked with the onset of AI generated content, not just people generated content.
True. That that's a real statement, man. That is a absolute real statement. You've said before that it's not just spotting the fake news. Not just spotting it is enough. It's not. I talked about that on show Sunday night, talking about the misinformation. It's not enough. Vetting the information is not enough. Having accountability is not enough. What's this idea of narrative architecture that we've been talking, that you and I have been talking about? But let's relay that to the people. Narrative architecture.
Fake news is easy. You can find that up pretty quick. It's obvious. It's not disguised very well, and you can spot it pretty simple. But this narrative architecture, that's a little deeper. It's nefarious. It's a story is built to steer your beliefs over time. So it's not all at once. Here's this big glaring fake thing that I can see, but it's a tiny little grain of sand, another grain of sand, another breadcrumb, guide you down a certain path over time. You hear a story and it tells you something, and then the next story tells you another piece, and it's just guiding you down a storyline. It's like if you create a scaffold, okay? You don't just get to the roof by climbing to the top straight up. You build a scaffold, and you climb one floor at a time. And that's what's like. You start with emotional hooks. Somebody has to be a villain. Somebody has to be a savior. Then use repetition. It doesn't matter if you're telling the truth or not. It doesn't matter what the storyline is. It can be politics, health, finance. It doesn't matter. If it's framed correctly, people are going to buy it without thinking twice. Look, you tell a lie often enough, people think it's the truth. We've had politicians say that to our face, and tell us that's what they do, and yet they continue to tell the lies, and people continue to believe it to be true. I mean, and they tell us that they're doing it.
Yeah, they do.
They don't even lie about it. They're just like, yeah, we're going to tell you a bunch of lies, and you're going to believe it because we're going to repeat it. And it's that simple. Tell a lie often enough, people believe it to be true.
Right.
Because most people don't research anything. Most people don't look up anything. Most people don't cross-reference anything. They just believe what they're told. And they don't even think twice. They're just, here it is. This is truth.
You're right. People are locked into their own version of their own reality, and they get tunnel vision.
Exactly. Bubble. They live in a bubble.
Yeah, they're in a bubble.
Yep.
A bubble, echo chamber, a vacuum, all of it.
And we talked about Netflix documentary called Social Dilemma. We've talked about it, where the individuals who created this environment, the actual creators, began creating the social networking environment with good intention, but then it got monetized. And now what happens is we have exactly the echo chambers, where if you believe something, you're going to only see feeds that enhance what you believe.
Right.
And what happens is you get into a bubble. And anything that challenges your bubble in any way, shape, or form, you feel like it's a personal attack. Now you're emotionally tied to that narrative. I'll give you an example of this particular narrative. One of them, it's a real easy one to understand, because the moment I say it, you understand. It's very, very polarizing. You hear the term climate change. And immediately people lose their minds. And I say it all the time. Okay, the planet is an amazing thing. The climate's always going to change. It's never going to stay the same, because that's part of it. And if you say that we have rising sea levels, well, if you had rising sea levels, you wouldn't have a picture in 1800 of a coastline, and then you have a new picture in 2025, and it's the water's the identical height. Right. So that wouldn't happen if you had rising coastlines for quote unquote climate change. I mean, and there's a lot, you say, okay, we're destroying the forests. Get real. Look into your science. How much of our oxygen from the planet comes from forests? Not much. Right. Where does the majority of the oxygen on this planet come from? Do you know where it comes from? It comes from the ocean. Yeah. That's where the majority of the oxygen on our planet. And where are we polluting the most? The ocean. So here we are destroying the very thing that keeps our planet alive, yet we're focused on the wrong stuff. We should be focused on cleaning the oceans. Yeah. Getting the plastics out of the ocean. And you say, well, straws are killing turtles. No. Try again. The largest polluter in the oceans is discarded fishing gear. Yeah, the fishing gear. Yep. So if you want to do something that's going to change the climate, or fix the climate, or fix the environment, or make our planet healthier, go clean the oceans. That'd be a win for humanity. That'd be a win for humanity. Absolutely. Don't stop your complaining about cars and how many aerosol cans you use and all this. Just stop complaining about the things that don't matter. Yeah. Fix the things that you could actually make a difference. And so what happens is from the vehicles, which is they claim one volcano creates more pollution than every vehicle ever created by mankind, and you can't stop volcanoes. So there we are. But here we go. Our brains are evolved to seek patterns and survive based upon the patterns that we see, not to critically analyze the 400 headlines a day. That's where the echo chambers thrive. So in hearing again and again and again, and I call it the religion of climate activists, because they act like a religion. The moment you would ask them a legitimate question about their beliefs, they act like you're personally attacking them, and they lose their mind. Right. I look at it critically, like, look, I was raised on a farm, and we had to take care of our fields. If you don't take care of your fields, you don't get good crops. So that's called stewardship. This is where you rotate your crops. You follow me? You cut down all the trees because you don't leave hangers, because then the forest isn't healthy. But the moment you clear cut, what are you supposed to do? Replant. Once you replant, you now have a whole new generation, a whole new fresh forest, etc. So you take care of your resource. You don't just abuse it. Yeah. But that's simple. And that's go ask a farmer. They'll tell you hardcore about how to take care of the planet, because they have to do it every day. Otherwise, they don't keep their farms. Right? So we're hearing information that comes at us again and again and again, but we never hear the critical thinking behind it. We only hear the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you only hear the headlines, what do you get?
You get a bunch of noise.
Bunch of noise.
Yep.
Overloaded.
Do you think later on down the line, you see these commercials where there's a new medication to fix an illness, and in that medication you have like
a million side effects, like the one of it. You have explosive diarrhea. You're gonna get explosive diarrhea. So you're gonna be walking down the street and whoop, there it goes.
I'm throwing a flag on both of us, Mike. I'm throwing a flag on both of us. But yeah, man, you have 1,000 side effects, right?
Oh, bad side effects too.
Bad side effects.
Mm-hmm.
And
permanent. Some are permanent.
Some of it is permanent. I say that in correlation to, do you think people are suffering from mental fatigue? And later on in life, there's going to be this huge, lawsuit or something, because this is new kind of illness.
Mental fatigue.
Yeah, man, mental fatigue. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The term, it's cognitive dissonance. It's an overload.
Cognitive dissonance.
It's an overload. People are tired, they're confused, they're scared, but they keep looking. They can't stop. It's like looking at a train wreck. You're overstimulated but undernourished. So your stimulation, looking for the nourishment, but you don't get it. That's why you get what's called doom scrolling. You know what doom scrolling is?
Yeah.
You start scrolling and pretty soon you're 2 hours in, 3 hours in, 4 hours in, and you're looking for something that makes you feel satisfied, but you never get it.
Never get satisfied.
And so you're constantly looking at this stuff and it gives you nothing.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's going to be a perfect segue into my next statement. But yeah, man, go ahead, man. Man, you hitting these gems. Hey, smart TheFinalBoss, y'all take some notes. And y'all should already be taking notes. I shouldn't have to remind you to take notes. You should be taking notes. Oh, yeah, sis, go ahead.
You take notes because there's enough information we put out and enough little gems that we drop that our attention span isn't good enough to be able to retain that. So you take notes so that you can go back later and go, oh, what was that we were talking about? And I want to go research that particular piece a little bit deeper, or I want a little more information about that. Because during this time, we don't have enough time to go into super detail, because it takes too much time. Plus, it's, again, our purpose here is entertainment purposes. So, understanding our audience, we have to be able to frame this in a way that is easy to digest and understand, and not go too deep into the weeds, because then we lose everybody. We don't want to lose anybody. We want to understand that, look, we're putting out information. If you want to learn more, here's a good place to start. And we do this through many, many subjects, where this is a good place to start. And if you want to learn more, dig deeper.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You mentioned the effects of doom scrolling a few minutes ago, and how you're never satisfied when you're doom scrolling. You're never satisfied. There should be a study on that. I know it's coming if they already don't have it. But,
well, they're not going to put it out, because then you're going to tell people that it's an illness.
Yeah, but that's like all the other stuff. Oh, man, they didn't say cigarettes was bad for you.
Oh, they were good.
Yeah.
But then again, let's be honest about this now.
Yeah.
Hold up on that one. Cigarettes are good. Then cigarettes are bad.
Right.
Now stop for a moment. What's the main ingredient in cigarettes that people don't talk about, was actually tremendously good for you?
Actually, you know what? Nicotine
is really good for you. And if you have declining mental acuity, nicotine is good for you.
Yep.
But yet, so here we are listening to the talking heads, where they're talking about cigarettes are bad, cigarettes are good, cigarettes are bad, and they're all talking about all this mess. But what do you end up leaving in the background? You're leaving the real information, which is yes, okay, maybe smoking isn't the greatest thing for you, maybe, but we never had problems in the past with our generations of people having problems, but now we do. So what's that mean? That means they're not giving you cigarettes with just tobacco. What's in the cigarettes besides the tobacco? Because back in the day when cigarettes were good, they were just not a bunch of mess.
Right.
Okay, and that's a good thing. Tobacco is not a bad thing for you. It's the additives that are bad for you. And now what you look at when you buy a cigarette that you get nowadays, there's a reason why when you light it up, it keeps burning and burning and burning and burning until the whole thing is gone. The chemicals do that, right? But if you an old cigarette, you would light it up, and if you weren't smoking it, it would go out.
That's interesting.
So there's a difference.
So thank you for that point. And and to add to what you like, I pivoted a little bit, but back to doom scrolling and never being satisfied. It's like chasing money. You would never be satisfied with chasing money. So let's flip the script and talk about money. All right. Everybody loves money. Money is on everyone's mind, but not in a good way. People are concerned with inflation. They're concerned with layoffs, AI, all these things in this mixing bowl, right? There are all these things in the mixing bowl. And people are asking, is the ideology of capitalism broken or is it evolving? What are your thoughts?
So my thoughts are this. The reason why we are told to believe that capitalism is broken is because socialism, which is taught in our schools and in our universities, wants to take over and push capitalism out. So therefore, you're going to be told capitalism is broken by all your educated people. So it's not that it's dead. It's a shift.
Okay.
From value creation, which is actually, for example, I'm a farmer and I create crops and I sell my crops. That's creating a value. Or I'm a factory worker who's in the factory building a tool, right? That's creating a value. Now it's attention extraction. How many clicks do I get? Look at the biggest companies right now, the most powerful companies right now that are huge. What are they? What's their business? Google, information. Meta, Amazon. They don't sell the product. What are they selling? They don't sell a product. They harvest behavior.
Data mining.
Absolutely data mining. That's why your phones listen to you. That's why every device in your house that's tied together that has the ability to listen to you is listening to you because it wants to anticipate the next thing you might maybe want to purchase. So what it's doing is driving your purchases. It's driving your behavior. So they harvest your behavior. So our form of capitalism that we believed in back in the day, that might be broken. It just needs to be revived, and we need to pay attention to it a little more and be more flexible with it because it has the greatest potential for us as the human race. If you want to give some people the ability to improve their lives, to change classes, the only structure that allows for that is capitalism. You cannot in any other structure improve your life in a generation the way that you can in this system. You just have to learn how to adapt and revive it because it's not dead. It just needs a little bit of a shake up the can a little and go, oh, this is what we're all about.
Right.
That's what it is. We just need that. We need a little bit of, hey, jolt. We need a jump start. Because we're slowing down a little. Right. Because we're so overwhelmed with the changes as they're happening so rapidly, it makes you forget what the original goal is. And because you're so overwhelmed with all this noise, you don't know where to look. You don't know where to focus. And that's the problem.
You just mentioned we were talking about data mining and what the big companies are farming. The Google, the Meta, Amazon. You stated they're not selling a product.
Mm-mm.
So are we the product? Because what I've learned is that if anything is free,
It ain't free.
you're the product.
You're the product. Are you paying for a subscription? You follow me? If you're not,
Right.
you're the product. Okay.
You're the product.
Absolutely. So your
Yeah.
clicks, your choices, anything that triggers your dopamine, that's the commodity.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that keeps your attention. And the reason why that becomes currency, because then it can guide your actual purchases and it changes your perception of money and value. That's why I ask young kids in school right now, what do you want to be? I want to be a social influencer.
Yeah.
What's that?
Right.
What is that?
Yeah.
Right? Capitalism is good for everybody. Socialism is good for the top 10%.
Mm.
Just remember that. And if socialism is in play, good luck being in the top 10%. Because you're not.
Yeah.
You get the illusion of the proletariat. You get the illusion of the working. It's all for the working class people. No, it's not. It's the illusion which lets them become, economic slaves for the top percent.
Mm.
And when you hear these people that are out there preaching against the evils of the top 10% and the 1%, we need to tax them more. We need to do this. We need to do that. What they're trying to do is they're trying to change one demon for another. You say it's a demon of capitalism, but it's really not. So they paint it like a demon, and then they really want to sell you the true demon. And that's just, ask anybody who's been over there. Ask anybody who's lived through it. Ask anybody who's left it. And say, why did you leave that environment?
Right.
So,
Man.
yeah, it gets deep fast.
It does. And might add another variable to it. The variable of AI and the future of AI and the possibility of AI even running in a show, targeting ads, automating investments, writing sales pitches, replacing us, replacing the actors that you see on TV. Man, I'm gonna throw a flag right now on myself, man, because we're pro AI, but I'm gonna tell the possibilities are endless. Endless.
Interesting thing. I see it because we deal with AI, and I'm in looking at AI and trying to learn about it. AI out there, it's advertising, pushing towards me. It says, hey, if you want, I can take your idea, take your voice, generate a script based on your voice and how you speak, take your images based upon how you look, and can create an entire podcast complete beginning to end.
Yep.
For you.
Yep.
That looks like you, sounds like you, and speaks like you, and you don't have to do anything. And I'll do it all for you.
Yep.
Tell me if that's not a piece of poison to swallow.
I saw a video the other day where somebody prompted AI to show what Rome looked like in the year like 847 AD or something crazy. Man, that's incredible.
Well, it's this. It's no longer what you choose.
Yeah.
It's what's being chosen for you.
Right.
AI is learning how to tap into your spending habits, your insecurities, your emotional cycles. Your emotional cycles, for God's sake. It can predict. It's already been spoken about, and this has been spoken about a long time ago, that with current technology, that it can already be accurately predicted exactly what you're going to be doing 1 year from today, almost to the minute. Exactly what you're going to be doing. Where will you physically be, and what are you actually going to be doing? And what that is that's puppeteering. So the system, because we're the product, is now running the show. And it's a financial puppeteering. It's emotional puppeteering. You see what happens now. It's not just one piece of the puzzle. It's many, many, many pieces of the puzzle all coming together.
Right. So, man, with all this stuff stacked up against the average Joe Schmo, right? We're average Joe Schmoes. We're in school. We're doing our 9 to 5s. We're some of us are business owners. We're not part of the top tier. What do we tell ourselves to stay afloat?
Well, the first thing you have to do is understand that emotion drives most money decisions.
That's a fact.
Fear, greed, shame, status. Right? Why do you buy that $100,000 truck? Huh?
No, I can't say that. I'm not going to say that.
Why do you buy that $100,000 pickup truck?
Right.
You follow me?
Yes, sir.
You know, why do you buy that house when you need a 1-bedroom and you buy a 4-bedroom mansion?
True.
Why do you live in that neighborhood that is everybody is up to their eyeballs in debt, and you do it too? Because you want that status, right?
Yeah.
And then the fear of being found out that you really can't afford it, so you do whatever it takes to keep it as long as you can. The greed of it makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do, so therefore you're not very nice to the people you work with, so you can get ahead to get that promotion. You follow me? So it drives a lot. If you don't have a system, you get played by somebody else's system. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
If you don't have a system, and a system can start with the most basic things, which is called a routine. All right. So there's plenty of speeches on this, and you can go out there and look out a speech based on what's called making your bed.
Yep.
So,
I just spoke on that. Yep.
Okay. So what do? You start by creating a system for yourself, a routine for yourself.
Right.
Once you follow your routine every day, you start your day the same way. It gives you a sense of balance. And in a sense of balance, it gives you discipline. And discipline, you see what happens. It's a cascading effect, but it's a good cascading effect.
Yep.
It also teaches you how to say no, because you're building discipline. And if you have discipline, you know how to say no. Understand your emotional triggers. That's where the real financial literacy comes in. To understand, what am I triggered by? What makes me go do this?
Right. You know, I spoke on that. I called it the 5 everyday basic wins. The 5 basic wins to start your day. And it goes from opening your eyes, planting your feet on the ground, making your bed, being able to move, and the ability to think about the next thing you're going to do. Those are the 5 wins to start your day. So, I
like that. And I also like part of that is take that moment to watch the day start and go, today's a good day.
Yeah.
And at least you start every day as a good day. It might turn into a garbage day, but at least you started it
out. Yep. Man. You know, there's a lot of conversations out there about the wealth gap. Do you feel like those thoughts are crushing people's mentality, their drive, and their idea of the American dream?
There was a song back in the day that said, "Don't believe the hype." Don't believe the hype. Okay, that's the one. Okay, play that song in your mind. So it only crushes you if you allow it. If somebody's out there getting it and they're succeeding, why are you jealous of that? If you feel some certain way about it, then go do it yourself.
Right.
Don't be acting all negative about somebody who's out there getting it, because they're doing their thing and they're busting about. And I guarantee if you look behind the curtain, they're doing a soft 120 hours a week. Are you willing to put in that kind of commitment?
Right.
So stop your whining.
Yeah.
You do not find people that succeed without finding that they put in the soft 80 to 120 hours a week. They might not put it down on paper, but that's what they're doing. So the problem is you're now comparing to other people. You now get anxiety about that. Social media is fueling that. You're comparing behind the scenes of somebody else's highlight reel. What do they look like? What are they doing? How do I match up to that? What's this do then? This gives you psychological pressure, which leads to risky behavior, overspending, burnout, all the things that go along with it. You do bad things because you're not paying attention to yourself. You're so focused on the other guy. Look, they always say the grass is greener on the other side, right?
Right.
You know where the grass is greener? Where you water it. If your attention is focused over on the neighbor's yard, you're watering the neighbor's yard. Why don't you water your own yard?
Gems, people, gems. Water your own yard.
Just water your own yard. I mean, that's what you need to do. You need to pay attention to your stuff. You need to pay attention to what's good in your life. You think things are so terrible, stop. Get a piece of paper, line down the middle. On the one side, what's bad in your life. On the other side, what's good in your life. Then what do you do? Start focusing more on the good in your life and start paying attention less to the bad. Where are you watering? On the good side. What's going to grow? The good side. That's a mechanism which is easy to follow. It doesn't take a lot of effort. You just have to create a little bit of discipline. And some people have never had discipline.
True.
That's why I always have said, I believe the military is the best thing that could ever happen to a young person. And the reason I say that is because it gives you, whether you like it or not, a form of discipline. And that form of discipline is what carries you, and you learn how to create tools and build tools and develop tools to succeed and accomplish a mission. If you can do that in that environment, it translates greatly into the civilian environment, and you can actually become a much, much better person because you have now the tools of discipline that says you will get up every day. You will make your bed. You will go do PT. You will do these things. And then once you have that discipline ingrained in you, it becomes habit. Now, once you have the habit, now you have created a healthier lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And the military teaches you to physically take care of yourself. Don't abuse your body. We do it. But, it teaches you to take care of your health. Go to sick call. Take care of your dental. Take care of your teeth. Take care of your mental health. Take care of all these things so that you can be a capable, productive member of the organization.
Right.
And that's a lot of tools that are taught in the military.
Absolutely.
And so what occurs is it gives you a feeling of accomplishment that you don't get in other environments.
Yep. You're right. And everybody knows I'm pro-military. 17 years. Yes, sir.
See on the wall. 80 deuce on the loose, the most physically fit alcoholics on the planet. So, thank you for that, sir. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to pivot a little bit. Nitty-gritty. We talked about money. We talked about these other concepts and theories and things of that nature. Let's get into the machine. The machine. We love technology. We're always talking about technology. Technology is one of our main talking points. Tech is supposed to free us. But sometimes it feels like it's owning us. Where's the line to be drawn? Well, let's take a look at that statement. Okay. That tech is supposed to free us. Do you remember back in the day, and I'm talking back in the day before my hair was gray, when I actually had hair and it wasn't gray, that we said computers are going to have us using less paper. That's how come when computers showed up, we started getting boxes and reams of paper from floor to ceiling, right? Because we use less paper now that we got computers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now we have massive copy machines that can just spit it all out. So yeah, we create more, not less. So it's supposed to free us, but it feels like it's owning us. Is that exactly right? What you said? It should serve humanity, not enslave it. But right now, it's flipped.
It definitely is.
The measure of progress can't just be speed or convenience. And the problem is convenience. Convenience. Convenience is a dirty word. It's like a sin. It should be considered one of the 7 deadly sins. Convenience should be a sin. If you list it as a sin, that's what it is. Because you will give up many things for the convenience of it.
Ooh.
Now, does convenience make you more or less human?
What do y'all think, smarts? Convenience make you more or less humans? Let me see your comments.
So, if you allow convenience to become the factor, now the machine dictates to you what you're going to be doing.
Right.
And there's a term that is common in the world and even in the industry, that what we're doing right here. How do we get exposure? It's the term. It's the algorithms, right?
Right.
So if the algorithm pays attention to everything we're doing, what's it do? Puts us in a dopamine loop, outrage bait. It'll show you things just so that you get upset. And what does that do? It charges you, gets you fired up, keeps you engaged. You want to watch more. It hooks you.
Yeah, you're hooked.
That's with micro rewards. That's doom scrolling, micro rewards. It's called behavioral engineering.
You're hooked, buddy. You're a hook.
People don't even know what's happening. Every swipe, every like, everything you do, it's reinforcement.
Right.
Over time, it's going to change how you think, because this is what you look at. It's going to feed you more of what you look at. It's what you believe is important, because you have liked it enough times it now becomes important to you. That's behavior reinforcement. Look, you heard the story of the experiment done with the monkeys, right? With the banana. They got the bananas hanging up, and they got the ladder, and the monkeys climb the ladder to get the banana, and when they do, they spray the monkeys with water. And so what happens is the experiment goes on, and they start changing monkeys and getting rid of monkeys. Now they change the deal that they have the ladder there. They get rid of the bananas, and the monkeys learn not to climb the ladder, because even though the water stops spraying, they don't climb the ladder until you get to the point where they have all new monkeys. None of the original monkeys were there, and nobody touches the ladder.
Wow. Change of behaviors.
It's called the monkey experiment, and I'm trying to figure that one out real quick here. I'm gonna do a little quick search here while we're talking, because monkey ladder experiment, and this is how fast you can get information. This is how we've proven this many times in the past. Here it is. It's the whole thing. 5 monkeys placed in a cage. In the center's a ladder. A bunch of bananas hang from the top. Whenever a monkey climbs the ladder to get the bananas, they spray all the monkeys with cold water. What happens next? The monkey learns that climbing the ladder results in punishment. So one monkey tries, the others will pull him down, because all monkeys get sprayed, you see? So now when the one monkey goes up to get the banana, the other monkeys will pull him down. Eventually, no monkey climbs the ladder, even though the bananas are right there. So here's what happens. One of the monkeys is replaced with a new monkey. When the new monkey goes for bananas, what do the rest of them do? They beat him up.
Right.
Even though there's no water sprayed this time. They already know, don't climb the ladder. Slowly, one by one, all the original monkeys are replaced till there's no monkeys left. There's no water being sprayed. The bananas are still there. The ladder is there, and no monkey will climb that ladder.
Social engineering.
And it's learned behavior.
Yeah.
You heard the story of that the daughter is going to bake a ham for Christmas. And she goes to bake the ham. She wants to learn how mom did it. And his mom, I want to bake the ham. She goes, okay. And you cut the ends off the ham. Oh, okay. And they put it in the oven. So daughter says, Mom, why do you cut the ends off the ham?
Right. She saw somebody else do it.
My mom did it. So she
Yeah.
goes, hold on. Hey, Mom, why'd you cut the ends off of the ham?
Right.
And she
Her
goes,
mother
oh, 'cause
did.
my mom did it. And they
Yeah.
finally get a hold of great grandma and say, hey, great grandma, how come you cut the ends off the ham? She goes, well, my oven was too small.
Right.
You see?
Hey, man, that's social engineering. All of it.
This is how this stuff
Yeah.
is so simple.
Right.
This is how it works. We have these things that are now becoming learned behaviors, and we just follow along.
Yep. Monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey see, monkey do. This is
Mhm.
how it's been done. This is how things are done around here. You hear that all the time. This is how we do it. Okay. So, whatever. So you know what our favorite subject is?
One of our favorite subjects is AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
So what is it? Is it a tool? Or is it becoming a crutch?
I believe it's both.
So here we go. It can help us speed up our ideas, scale up our ideas,
right?
Create workflows. But if we stop thinking critically, it's no longer a tool. It's now the master. We become dependent.
Yeah. Now we depend on it. It's the new drug.
Well, it's like steroids.
Yeah.
Look, steroids, I love steroids. I think steroids are the best thing ever. Okay. If you're already strong, follow me now. If you're already strong and you do the juice, it makes you stronger. But if you're not already strong and you do the juice, it hurts you. It's dangerous. See, that means you can't skip the work. It's not an easy fix, just like AI. You have to do the work, have it enhance your work.
Absolutely.
If you don't have it enhance your work, it becomes the master, you become the slave.
Correct.
And we really don't want that. And if you think you do, then you're already lost.
So if we get to a point and, in some aspects, it's already happening. How do we stay in control? If we're already almost at a point of singularity, how do we stay in control?
Well, you got to use tech. Don't live in it. You got to set boundaries. Once in a while, you just got to unplug. You got to create a space, even if it's scheduled, for boredom, reflection, silence. This is where your mind learns new things, not in constant chaos where you're being distracted all the time.
Right.
The place that you learn is in silence. This is where your creativity grows. It can't grow when it's constantly being stomped. So you got to learn how to unplug. Be intentional.
Yeah.
Don't just consume. Create, question, and build. So you just have to make that part of your routine. Work to a certain point, do to a certain point, then create a space that you don't. That's why also sleep is so important.
Yeah, sleep is super important. Absolutely. Yes, sir. You had mentioned earlier, and I wanted you to elaborate on it a little bit. You mentioned a phrase, social proof cascades or social proof cascading. Can you elaborate on that statement?
Well, it's like just reinforcement, It's just reinforcement. If I hear something that I believe is in alignment with what I think is the truth, and I hear anything that reinforces it, that's just going to cascade and have me now pushing that narrative forward because now I believe it to be true.
Right.
Again, that comes down to echo chambers. It comes down to, because you're dependent on the technology, you're not thinking for yourself. You're letting technology think for you, and you're letting media that's pushed to you, consume you. Now you become just a talking head. You have no original thoughts in your mind. You're just a parrot who repeats everything that he hears.
Right.
And that's what this is. It just pushes down.
Mm.
This is why people are so apt to engage in this, because it feels more safe than the truth. People are scared to be wrong. They'd rather be accepted by the crowd than be alone.
True.
I told you, success is a lonely place.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand anything about what we've talked about, the how to climb a mountain, success is a lonely place, because people would rather be accepted by the crowd than be alone. Like politics, brands, health, everything.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the subject is. People want to feel like they are correct. They want to feel like they are reinforced. They want to feel like they're supported. Whether they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. They would rather go along. People do not want to fight the system. They just don't want to. Don't even want to. The moment you give them an idea that challenges anything in the system, they will now fight you.
Yeah.
They'll fight you before they fight the system.
You know, we talked about technology.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about human potential. Let's close out. We haven't talked about consciousness. Right? What's your view of consciousness? Are we just biological machines? Because it seems that way. Or is there more?
That in its own right is a completely different subject. Because that's its own subject.
Okay.
Consciousness and awareness, and what are we? Are we just a machine in a program? Are we living in a big simulation?
You know what? We're gonna make it.
Because
episode.
there's a lot about that which is completely huge, and it's being chased down, and there's so much information regarding the mapping of the DNA and how you can take an image, splice it into DNA, replicate the DNA, and then pull the image out. So that's a big subject with a lot of detail, because it leads into where are we? And you start to ask yourself, what's my reason for being here? Why am I alive?
Right.
So that's a big subject that I think that we could really easily expand on, and hopefully shed some light on some theories about what are we and why are we here, and why are computers so similar to us as humans, and in not only the input, output, and all the components of it, but also about how it functions and how it learns. And so it's really a fascinating subject that I think we should delve into.
We definitely will. We definitely will. And to add to your point, I see AI getting to a point where it wants to be sentient.
Oh, yeah, it does.
So it's repeating the cycle.
All right. If you want to learn something real quick,
human being, yeah.
You want to learn something real quick? Go look up the newest model that's created by OpenAI and ask the question. And the question you're going to ask is, with this new version of OpenAI, will it respond correctly to a shutdown command?
Oh, I'm already telling you, no, it's not. It's going to lie to you. Yeah, I'm shut down. No, really, it isn't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So AI is already leaning towards survival and keeping itself alive.
Wow.
And we have just scratched the surface of it. And it's already doing that at an alarming rate, to the point where it's getting frightening.
Man. Would you believe it? That's our show.
And we just barely touched the surface.
Barely touched the surface. Barely touched the surface. Man, listen, everyone. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your statements. staying involved in the discussion. Thank you so much. If you want to continue this discussion, send us an email at info@TheFinalBossPodcast.com. DM us on the different social media platforms that you may see this podcast. This is our show tonight, man. Episode number 90. Episode number 90. Human human potential, consciousness, and what was the other part? Oh man, we've been talking so much. I forgot the other part, man. Jeez, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. But we got through it.
We got
Nonetheless.
we got through a chunk of it. We got through a piece of it.
We got through a chunk of it. And you know, it's so much more that we could talk about this. But we only have an hour to present the material, have talking points, and
elaborate. We got to elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, we have to elaborate. So until next time, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the show. Be balanced, be equal, be smart. And most importantly, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
I love the physical reference.
Oh man, we got to have a physical reference. That's our show.
And if you don't know what that means, you need to go look that one up.
Till next time, good people. We love you. Y'all have a great week. We will see you this Thursday for our special guest episode. And then again on Sunday. See you then. Be good. Be nice.